The barista's hand froze mid-pour. Her eyes tracked from my heels to my face, then back down. My pulse hammered. First time out. First time in this dress. First time being seen. I forced my shoulders back, gripped my purse tighter. The tan fabric clung to curves I'd hidden for 37 years. Every click of my heels on the cafe floor felt like a gunshot. Other customers glanced up, whispered. Or maybe I imagined it paranoia had been my companion longer than this secret. The mirror behind the counter threw my reflection back at me. Pageboy hair, nervous smile, trembling hands, accepting the coffee cup. Not the man everyone expected. Not anymore. I found a corner table and sat, legs crossed at the ankle, like I'd practiced 1,000 times in my locked bedroom. The coffee scalded my tongue, but I didn't care. I was out. I was real. And I had no idea what happened next. Leaving the cafe, I wandered down the street, window shopping, my reflection in each pane of glass sparking a quiet smile. Every step took me farther from the car's safety, but the fear that had choked me for so long felt distant. 2 blocks out, I crossed the street and looped back, still browsing, until I slid back into the driver's seat and headed home. The stereo hummed as I tossed my purse on the couch, but a sharp doorbell cut through the calm. No peephole, no time to change. I froze, heart pounding, then forced myself to open the door. Rachel, my neighbor, stood there, all smiles. "Hi, I'm Rachel. Is Alex here? His car's outside, so—" I steadied my voice, pitching it soft and feminine. "Sorry, Rachel, he's not here right now. Maybe later?" She shrugged, unfazed. "I'm having a get-together tonight. Tell him?" "Oh, and you're welcome to come too." I nodded, mumbling. "I'll let him know, but I can't make it." She waved and left. I shut the door hard, praying she hadn't seen through me. Grabbing a soda, I tried to calm the jitter in my chest when the bell rang again. Bracing myself, I yanked the door open, expecting Rachel. Instead, Tyler, my best friend, grinned at me. "Hey, I'm Tyler. Looking for Alex. He around?" I kept my voice steady. "No, sorry, he's not." Tyler's eyes lit up, blunt as ever. "You must be his sister. Gotta say, you're way better looking. What's your name?" "Emily," I blurted, hoping he'd leave it there. "Listen, Emily, Rachel's got this thing tonight. Wanna come? I'll introduce you around." I deflected. "Can't, but I'll tell Alex you stopped by." He smirked, undeterred. "Too bad. I'd pick you over Alex any day. Not tonight, though, huh?" I slipped, muttering, "Not tonight anyway." His face lit up. "There's hope, then," he called, strolling off. I sank onto the couch, shaken. 2 people who knew me, Rachel and Tyler, had seen me like this, and neither had blinked. It should have been a victory, but doubt gnawed at me. Were they just being polite? Had they seen through the dress, the heels, the careful voice? I stripped off the outfit, the fear creeping back as I tried to shake the thought that I'd been exposed. But skipping Rachel's party wasn't an option, dodging it would only raise questions. I called her, confirming I'd show up. The party was in full swing when I arrived, back in my usual clothes, my usual self. Rachel spotted me first, her smile sharp. "Sorry your sister couldn't come. Tyler called, said he thinks Emily's a knockout." I nearly choked but forced a grin, steering the conversation to anything else. Tyler, relentless, cornered me later, prodding about Emily. "Man, you gotta get her to go out with me." I mumbled something vague, hoping to kill the topic. Then Rachel pulled me aside, her voice low, her grin knowing. "My kitchen faces the parking lot, Alex. I was there all afternoon, prepping for this. Funny thing, I never saw your sister leave. Never saw you arrive either. Your car just sat there." She leaned closer, gripping my arm. "You know what I think? I think you're Emily." I stammered. "Rachel, you know me." She cut me off, her eyes gleaming. "You look damn good this afternoon, better than some girls I know." She glanced at Jessica across the room, then back at me. "When can I meet Emily again?" I said nothing, my throat tight. "She can't stay locked in your apartment forever," Rachel added, letting go. Think about it. I drifted back to the party, my head spinning. I barely spoke, skipped the dancing, and nursed a soda all night. The weight of Rachel's words and the truth she'd seen followed me, heavier than the heels I'd worn that morning. Rachel's sharp eyes had sliced through my carefully built facade. I'd thought I could slip out as Emily and back without a trace, but she'd seen the truth and wasn't letting it go. Her demand to meet Emily again hung over me like a storm cloud. If she told anyone, my college life would unravel ostracized, whispered about, done. I ducked out of the party early, muttering apologies. Rachel's wink as I left carried a promise. I'll swing by at 11 to meet Emily. The choice was brutal: let Rachel meet Emily, or stop dressing altogether. Quitting wasn't an option. That first day out had cracked something open inside me, a need I couldn't shove back into the shadows. But letting Rachel in risked everything: her laughter, her gossip, or worse, her dragging me into her circle as Emily. Cursing the mismatch between my body and the girl I felt inside, I trudged home, trapped in a lose-lose game. Morning light spilled into my apartment, glinting off the bra slung over a chair, pantyhose crumpled beside my heels. The closet taunted me with Emily's clothes. I sighed, brewed coffee, and faced the inevitable. Rachel would meet Emily. There was no other way. After a quick shower and shave, I painted my face with care, then pulled on a white skirt, a red pullover, and matching red shoes. An hour of fussing later, I checked the mirror. It was 10. Instead of waiting for Rachel to corner me, I grabbed my purse, crossed the parking lot, and knocked on her door. A gruff male voice answered. "Yeah, what do you want?" I steadied my voice. "Is Rachel here?" She appeared in a robe, shoving the guy aside. "Emily, hang on, let me throw on some clothes." The guy, her brother, I later learned left, and Rachel re-emerged in jeans and a top, barefoot, no makeup. "Damn, Emily, I look like a mess compared to you this early," she said, grinning as she poured coffee. We sat, cups in hand, her eyes studying me. "Not many guys could pull this off, you know. My brother tried it for Halloween once, looked decent, but everyone knew. You? You're something else. Great hair, killer smile, clothes that fit you like a glove. Most girls would kill for that." I smirked, deflecting. "Yeah, I've got something girls don't." Her face turned serious. "You think I'd tell? Half the guys here would lose their minds over you. Why would I ruin that? Let them wonder. You don't have to date anyone, but you can't hide in your apartment forever. Get out. Have fun." "Easy for you," I muttered. "Everyone knows you're a girl. Me, one slip and I'm done." Rachel leaned forward, fierce. "You're as much a girl as I am. No one's gonna prove otherwise." "Just be you." I scoffed, but she pressed on. "Let's spend the day together. Shopping, lunch, whatever." Before I could argue, she darted to her room, returning in a skirt and top like mine. We took her car, my nerves screaming as we left. Rachel's enthusiasm felt genuine, so I leaned into it, trying to relax on my second day out as Emily. She peppered me with questions how I managed this or that, but I brushed them off, saying she didn't need to know. Then she asked if I'd ever had my hair done. I hadn't. Her eyes lit up. "Summer break's coming. You can't rot in your apartment. Get your hair done, it'll make going out easier." She'd hit my biggest hurdle and dangled a solution. We stopped at her salon, booking an appointment 2 weeks out. The day flew by shopping, laughing, Rachel spilling secrets about guys we knew, things I'd never heard as Alex. When I teased her about the guy at her door, she rolled her eyes. That was Ethan, my brother. By the time we got back, the knot in my chest had loosened. Rachel headed home, and I found 3 messages from Tyler, all about Emily. I grinned, swapping the skirt for shorts, the day's thrill lingering. The next weekend, I went out alone. Shorts, a plain top, gym shoes simple, but me. The zoo was crowded, but I blended in, fearless for once. The day after, I stayed home, tinkering with ways to hide my body better. All I got was a rash and frustration, no closer to solving the puzzle. The Friday after classes ended, with summer stretching ahead, I dove into Emily with reckless confidence. 2 weeks, that's how long I'd stay her, no matter what. I'd stocked up on razors, hair removal cream, lotions, everything to fuel this leap into the world. Rachel had shown me I could pass, that no one cared as long as I owned it, my walk, my voice, my vibe. Determination burned as I sank into a bubble bath, spending the evening erasing every unwanted hair, nicking myself only once. Lilac-scented lotion left my skin smooth, my hair squeaky clean, air-drying as I slipped into a robe. At the kitchen table, I worked on my nails, a ritual I loved. Filing, gluing, shaping each one with plum rose polish, I sealed them with a glossy clear coat. Waving my hands to dry them, I endured some trashy island reality show, careful not to smudge the shine. Morning came, and I did my makeup with precision, pulling on a short skirt, a simple blouse, pantyhose, and flats. A hairband kept my waves in check. My salon appointment loomed at noon, so I ate breakfast, tidied up, and drove over. The stylist layered my thick hair, then worked her magic. An hour later, I stared at a stranger in the mirror, auburn curls framing my face. Shorter, vibrant, perfect. The perm was worth every cent, and I drove home buzzing with joy. Then I saw it. My mom's car in my parking spot. Panic hit hard. Mom wasn't the type to leave quickly, she'd wait. Maybe even call the cops if I didn't show. No escaping this. If Dad was with her, I was screwed. If she was alone, maybe I had a shot. I parked in a spare spot, heart hammering. Rachel waved from across the lot. I gave a weak wave back, then forced myself to my door. Inside, no sign of Mom. I set my purse down, heading for the kitchen when she stepped out of the bathroom. Her eyes widened, but she recovered fast. "I thought I'd visit for a few days," she said, voice steady. "Your father's gone most of the summer." I grabbed a soda, offered her one, and we sat at the table. "You look beautiful," she said, leaning closer. "That's a perm, isn't it? And those nails professional work." I started to speak, but she wasn't done. Mom, with her PhD and sharp mind, wasn't naive. She knew about people like me, but I was her son, not some abstract case. Her polished style, her daily runs, her success, she was my idol. I couldn't say it, though. Beneath her calm, I sensed a storm of questions brewing. "What's going on here?" she asked, her tone sharp. "I knew you dressed up sometimes, but this—" She sat, staring. "I never asked why, did I?" I shook my head. "You never left the house like this at home. Now you've got the nerve to go out." I stayed silent, my skirt and curls speaking for me. "Are you living as a girl now?" she asked, softer. "No, I just—" "First day?" she pressed, a faint smile flickering. I shook my head again, fidgeting. I spilled everything: my name, Rachel's support, Tyler's interest, even my pride in my nails. Mom listened, her gaze unnerving. "This isn't what I raised you for," she said, voice rising. "I raised a son. Why throw that away? Do you know how hard this will be? For all of us?" Her words stung. "This'll kill your father, you know that." I dropped my head, speechless. "You want my help, don't you?" she went on. "Or did you think we'd just accept this quietly?" I had no answer, caught between the girl I was and the son she expected. Mom's hand lifted my chin, forcing my eyes to meet hers. "If I told you to change and never do this again, would you?" My chest tightened, a sob threatening to break free, but I found my voice. "No," I said, firm. "I can't. Not now." "Why not?" she pressed. "Because I stood, pulling away, my voice rising. "You wouldn't get it. For the first time, I'm me. Don't yell at me," she snapped, her tone sharp. "I'm still your mother, and you will not speak to me like that." She took a deep breath, visibly softening. "Sit." I sank back into the chair. "So, no matter what, you'll keep dressing as a girl?" "I guess," I mumbled. "Being a girl matters more than us." "No, Mom, it's not that. I just thought I could try it." With a perm and acrylic nails? Her voice dripped with disbelief. I'm not great with hair, I admitted. Ah, a perm makes it easier. When were you planning to tell us? I shrugged, no answer ready. If I help you, then what? You know how hard this will be, especially for your father? I guess. You did this knowing that, and you won't stop. So you'll keep going, no matter what we say? Mom, you don't know how it feels. It's like I've been freed. Free? She scoffed. As a woman? Women get worse jobs, less pay, treated like objects, or worse if you're not pretty. That's not what I meant. She sighed, then demanded to see my clothes. I showed her everything, skirts, tops, dresses, all met her approval, as I knew they would. At her suggestion, we headed out for lunch, but the doorbell interrupted. Tyler stood there, grinning. Just passing by, he said, spotting Mom. Habit kicked in, and I introduced them, realizing too late the trap I'd set. He now thought I was Emily, and with Mom beside me, why wouldn't he? We're grabbing lunch, Mom said smoothly. Join us? I'd love to, Tyler replied. Emily's tough to catch. Mom's eyes gleamed. She's shy, and her father and I don't take kindly to pushy boys. I wasn't raised to push, ma'am, Tyler said, earnest. Good, Mom shot back, a sly smile forming. Maybe I'll meet your mother someday. I grabbed Tyler's arm, steering us out before Mom's verbal sparring skewered him. He drove us to the same cafe from my first outing, polite and charming in a way I'd never seen. Mom never hinted I wasn't a girl, sparing me a public gutting. Tyler, usually a slob around guys, had Mom's approval, I could tell. I wasn't into him, or any guy, but his easy smile was disarming. After lunch, he dropped us home, promising to call. Your young man's nice, Mom teased. He's not mine, I shot back. I'm not into guys. Maybe, she said, unconvinced. You said dressing as a girl feels free, but boys will notice you, Tyler already has. What did you think would happen? That you'd be invisible? She sat, her voice steady. You're a pretty young woman, Emily. Boys will ask you out. They'll think you're a girl, and you're not. They'll want more than you can give. What then? Broken hearts? I don't want you dating boys, you're my son, but look in the mirror and tell me I'm wrong. Her gaze pierced me, and then she went there. If you get close to a boy, how long before you try to please him in ways you can't? Are you gay? Is this how you feel safe being gay? No, I said sharp. I'm not gay. I just want to be a girl. You know boys and girls have sex, right? She said, sarcastic. Yes, but Tyler likes you more than you think. How long before he wants more? You say you're not into men, but living as a woman will test that. Passion can twist your intentions. One day, you'll have to decide, are you a man or a woman? You call yourself a woman, but deny what comes with it. Trust me, Emily, nature will win. A man will come into your life, and you'll want to be everything for him, just like any woman would. She paused, then smiled softly. If you find a man who loves you, be his best friend first. That's what matters. Mom leaned back, her gaze unrelenting. Sex is just part of being a woman, Emily. It's not dirty, it's normal. If you love a man and he loves you, you'll find a way, like all women do. He'll be your lover, your friend, your confidant, sometimes even your mother, but always your friend first. When you meet him, you'll know. I sat speechless, her words shredding every defense I'd built. I'd had fleeting thoughts of being with a guy as a woman, but buried them, refusing to admit they could ever become real. Knowing was one thing, doing was another. Now Mom was saying I'd crossed that line because it was what women do. Before I could respond, she dropped the bomb. You'll have to tell your father. He deserves to know he has a daughter now, not a son. No way, I shot back. I'll end up flipping burgers for 20 years to finish school. Forget it. You said you wouldn't stop no matter what, she said, calm but firm. You can't have it both ways. I'm not asking, I'm telling you. How do I tell Mr. Macho I want to be a girl? I snapped. It won't be easy, she admitted. Maybe come home next weekend. I'll prep him. I'd always known Dad would find out, but I'd banked on later. That perm, those nails, Mom continued. You planned to stay Emily all summer, didn't you? I nodded. Then there's no reason to hide it from him. I searched for a flaw in her logic, but found none. Why not stay here? She added. We'll drive up instead. Then she gutted me. You really think I didn't know about your dressing up at home? The makeup you left out? The perfume in your room? That box of clothes in your closet? I always knew. I sank deeper into the chair, my careful secrecy exposed as a sham. I told your father, she went on, but he brushed it off as a kid thing. Now he'll have to face the truth. We sat in heavy silence, her words confirming my worst fears. She'd caught me before, never seeming bothered, but now she was shocked I'd taken it this far. The comfort of knowing they'd always known was drowned out by the dread of facing Dad, of him seeing me like this. Mom shifted, asking how I shaped my figure. Distracted, I explained, my mind a mess of fear and resignation. I braced for them to shut this down, to ban Emily forever. But Mom's tone had shifted from denial to reluctant acceptance, even determination. She called me beautiful, asked about my methods, and insisted I confront Dad, all softened by the fact they'd known for years. I'm staying the weekend, she said, softer now. Let's freshen up and go shopping. Your clothes are nice, but you need something dressier than that tan sheath. Let's fix that. I blinked. My mother helping me buy clothes? Mom, I never thought. You're 19, she cut in. You're choosing your life, and I'm helping, whether I like it or not. I don't, but I'll make sure you're a well-dressed young lady. You need me. She grabbed my arm. If you're going to be our daughter, I expect you to be the woman your father and I would have raised. No choice. Now, let's go. My credit card's itching to be used. We touched up our lipstick, and I drove us to the mall, her words echoing. She didn't want this, she'd said it repeatedly, but since I was doing it, she'd mold me into the daughter she'd expect. No compromises. Mom's determination to guide me swept away my confusion, replacing it with a cautious thrill. My wardrobe, fine for occasional outings, wasn't enough for her. If you're doing this, do it right, she said, steering me toward lingerie. When she learned my breasts were just seed-filled nylons and my hips padded cotton, she scoffed, thrusting padded panties into my hands and grabbing a pair of breast forms. Bras, panties, slips, nightgowns, a robe, and a white corselet. Every girl needs one, piled up fast. Shoes followed, flats, plus red, white, and black patent heels. Dresses, skirts, blouses, a suit, slacks, jeans, shorts, a romper. Mom's credit card took a beating. Laden with bags, we headed back to my apartment. The day unexpectedly fun. I shared secrets I never thought I would, like wearing panties and pantyhose to school once. Mom, vibrant, explained why clothes were cut certain ways, prioritizing comfort over flash. No real lady wears that trashy stuff, she said, unless it's her wedding night. That night, she studied the breast form instructions while I watched TV. The day had swung from dread to delight, but her ultimatum lingered. Be the girl I claimed to be, or quit. Quitting wasn't an option, so she charged forward with a focus I'd rarely seen. She let me choose clothes, but demanded her approval, guiding me through lingerie and makeup with a mother's precision, treating me like the daughter she was shaping. Next morning, I brewed coffee and started breakfast. Mom stopped me before I dressed, insisting I use the breast forms. Time to feel what it's like when they're not optional. She attached them with adhesive, their weight tugging my chest as I shuffled to the shower. I chose shorts, a pullover tee, gym shoes, minimal makeup, no lipstick. The padded panty smoothed my shape, hiding what didn't belong and sculpting a natural curve. Mom, in shorts and a top, suggested a walk to the park 2 miles away. You could use the exercise. As we walked, she coached me. Bend your elbows, Emily. Hold them like this. Looser hands, shorter steps. I mimicked her, catching her point. You're almost perfect, but refine these. And when you sit, sweep your skirt, cross your ankles. Nobody questions that. At the park, we rested on a shaded bench. How do the forms feel? She asked. Weird but nice, I admitted. They bounce. Sports bras help, she said, smiling. You're a lovely girl, Emily. I'd rather help you become the woman you want than see you as a frustrated man who never chased his dream. That'd be sadder for all of us. She squeezed my hand, pulling me up for the return loop. Kids swarmed the park swings, creaking, mothers chasing toddlers, boys playing ball. The sight of young moms sparked an ache I couldn't name. I'd never be one of them, so I shoved the thought down and kept pace with Mom. At 43, she moved like someone half her age, dark hair streaming, blue eyes locked on the path, oblivious to the guys staring at her trim frame. The idea they might be eyeing me was laughable. After showers, we met Rachel for lunch. They clicked instantly, the three of us laughing easily. Then Rachel dropped a bomb. Tyler called again, wanted your number. I didn't give it. But Emily, I think he's in love. Rachel's quip about Tyler stung, but I brushed it off. Not happening. Guys are off limits. Don't be so sure, Mom said, her tone sharp. Men have a way of getting under your skin, and you'll go further than you planned. I'm not into guys, I insisted. Rachel smirked. And how many girls can you date looking like that? She's right, Mom added. Boys will notice you, Tyler already has. How long before you give in rather than sit home while everyone's out having fun? Their words pressed against my resolve, but I clung to my stance until a young mother wheeled her stroller into the cafe. The sight stirred a longing I'd buried. I'd dreamed of motherhood, but it didn't add up. No guy, no baby. And since I wasn't a woman, that door was closed. I shoved the thought away, focusing on Rachel's invitation to dinner with her parents. Mom accepted before I could speak. That evening, Mom wore a navy suit with a red skirt, crisp and sharp. I chose the tan sheath dress, elegant but simple. Rachel led us to the restaurant, where her mom, short and jolly, radiated warmth, and her dad, tall with white hair, exuded quiet strength. Ethan, her brother, looked polished in a gray suit, a far cry from the disheveled guy I'd met. Dinner was easy, pleasant, until I needed the restroom. I'd never been in a women's one. Panicked, I dragged Rachel along. It was empty, and the trip passed without a hitch. Back home by 11, Mom and I crashed after the long day. She left the next morning, her parting words firm. We'll be back Saturday. Look spectacular, Emily. And tell your father the truth, anything less, and he'll never trust you. Alone, I cleaned, changed sheets, and tossed laundry in the washer. Every item was Emily's bras, panties, skirts. No trace of Alex. By 3, I was sipping a soda when Tyler showed up, relentless. Pizza and beer, no excuses. Mom and Rachel's warnings echoed, and I caved, touching up my makeup before we left. At the pizzeria, Tyler was all charm, asking for my number. Easier than stalking your door. I scribbled it on a napkin, watching his face pale as he read it. My stomach dropped. This is your number? He asked. Yeah, I said, bracing. Why? I haven't seen Alex since you moved in. Makes you wonder. Wonder what? I pushed, ready to end the charade. If you're Alex, he said, pouring me a beer, calm as ever. I froze, sipping to hide my shock. You said I looked like him, he added, those brown eyes locking on mine. You are Alex, right? I nodded, unable to speak. Your mom was with you, so she must think this is okay? Not really, I admitted. She hates it, but says if I'm doing it, I have to do it right. She's helping, but she's not happy. Well, I like it, he said, grinning. Why? Because my best friend's now a cute girl. I liked you before, Emily. What you wear doesn't change that. The cute part's just a bonus I'm gonna enjoy. Huh? Don't you get it? Who better to be your date than someone who knows you? You don't want some random guy hitting on you, do you? He hadn't touched me beyond a casual brush, so I relaxed, listening. It made sense. He knew I wasn't really a girl, so maybe he wouldn't push. Why he wanted to hang out with me like this, I didn't get, but his eagerness and honesty won me over. I nodded, agreeing. He ordered another round to celebrate, and I mentioned Dad's visit. He's coming next weekend to meet Emily for the first time. Tyler laughed, catching me off guard. What's so funny? You gotta learn to work men, he said. My sisters twist my dad around their fingers. If they can, you can. He laid out their tricks, insisting I could sway Dad the same way. He drove me home, and I stepped inside without so much as a handshake, but a strange excitement buzzed in my chest, like something new was starting. Tyler's offer to be my escort felt like a convenient excuse, but the idea of his familiar presence easing the pressure of unwanted attention was tempting. Mom's confidence in my ability to pass as a girl had sunk in, leaving only my own doubts to hold me back. Stripping down that night, I caught my reflection, half the girl I longed to be. Flat-chested, not truly a woman, just a pretender like others out there. The TV droned news as I climbed into bed, Tyler's bright eyes and warm smile creeping into my thoughts. My insistence that I wasn't into guys wobbled. My own femininity was pulling me under, and I couldn't fight it. Mom's warning about pleasing a guy the only way I could haunted me. I could picture it, but refused to accept it might happen. Next morning, I found a check-in note from Mom in my purse money to feminize my apartment. The place was stark, all bare walls and no soul. I called Rachel, and we hit the shops, blowing most of the cash on decor. Silk flowers, Monet prints, cat statues, potpourri, pillows, a stand for more flowers, and floral sheets. Back home, we transformed the space, softening its edges into something warm, undeniably feminine. After changing the sheets, I made us dinner, and by Friday, every inch of the place sparkled, vacuumed, dusted, wiped down. A vase of flowers sat on the kitchen table as I prepped for Saturday, the day I'd face Dad. Morning came, and I took my time getting ready, choosing a mint green dress with a low square neckline, fitted bodice, and a skirt just above my knees. Thong panties and a padded panty hid what didn't belong, while a white lace bra and waist nipper shaped my figure, the breast forms creating subtle cleavage. Pantyhose smoothed my legs, and white patent heels added polish. White jewelry, soft red lipstick, and my best perfume finished it, my hair clipped back with white barrettes. The mirror showed the girl I'd dreamed of, but dread gnawed at me. No more hiding. I had to face Dad as Emily. Their car pulled up, and I waited, heart pounding, for the bell. When it rang, I opened the door, letting Mom in first, then Dad. His eyes locked on me, heavy with unspoken judgment. Mom smiled, noting the redecorated apartment, but held Dad's hand tightly as we exchanged tense glances. My nerves burned hotter than my first day out. Dad's silence screamed disappointment, cutting deeper than words. I was defying everything he'd taught me about being a man. Mom gestured to sit, but I couldn't, standing rigid as they settled on the couch. "Honey," she said to Dad, "this is Emily." His dark eyes bored into me, saying nothing. "Emily and I spent time together last weekend," Mom continued. "I see no reason we can't find some agreement." "You don't look like I expected," Dad finally said. "Most guys in dresses look like guys, but—" "She's a very pretty girl," Mom cut in. "I see that," he said, his voice tinged with sadness. "But I didn't raise you to be a woman. Is this what you want? To be second your whole life?" "Being a woman doesn't mean second, Dad," I said, firm. "I agree," Mom added sharply. He fell silent. I carried their bags to the spare room, leaving them alone. "I made lunch," I said, returning. "Let me set it out." Dad's face was a mask of disbelief, and shame clawed at me as I fled to the kitchen. My heels clicked on the tile as I arranged plates, Mom joining me silently. She handed me 2 sodas, nodding toward Dad. Her look said it all. Talk to him, alone. I swallowed hard, grabbed the drinks, and mustered the courage to invite him to the patio out back. To my surprise, he agreed. Dad trailed behind me, my perfume wrapping around us as we stepped onto the patio and settled into the chairs. His gaze fixed on my face, flickering to my chest before his mouth tightened into a grim line. His fists clenched on the table, signaling a rough road ahead. "You like being a girl, don't you?" he asked, his voice sour. I nodded, tense. "Mom told me last weekend, but I didn't believe her. I said you weren't this." He leaned back, eyes still drilling into me. "We knew you dressed up at home, but we thought it was a phase. You're like a different person now." He grabbed his soda, hands loosening. "I could stop this, you know. Cut off the money." My truth burned too bright to hide. "It's not about money, Dad. Never was. I'd get a job, but I'd still be Emily. I don't have a choice anymore." "Nonsense," he snapped. "Change clothes right now, and I'd have my son back, the one I played baseball with, taught to ride a bike, helped with math, took fishing." "Dad!" I cut in, stopping his spiral. "I could change, but this perm, these acrylic nails, they don't vanish. No matter what I wear, I'm Emily." He recoiled, silent. "I'm still me," I said, softer. "Same person, just different clothes. You think I woke up one day and chose dresses? This isn't a choice, it's a need I can't escape. I've lived with this forever, wanting to be a girl but too scared to try. Being here with you like this? It's torture. I thought I had it under control, dressing up in secret, but the first time I went out to that cafe, I knew I was wrong. Anything less isn't enough. That's why I got the perm, to fit in. I can still ride a bike and do math, Dad, thanks to you. All that's changed is my clothes, and how I see myself." He sipped his soda, face unreadable. I couldn't touch mine, braced for his next move. His silence warned of a grueling weekend, but I loved him, always had, and hated hurting him. Dad was everything men aim to be. Tall, handsome, successful, articulate. But I wasn't him. At 5'7", I took after Mom's slender frame, her softer edges. His knack for words was mine, but writing was my thing, and dresses only sharpened my voice, gave it depth. "Your mother says you have a boyfriend," he said, an ugly smirk twisting his face. "Has he tried getting in your pants yet? There's only one way you could please a guy, and I won't even think about that." "Wrong!" I shouted, voice shaking. "Tyler's a friend, a good one. He knew me before and knows me now. He's not like that, and I'm not either. I resent you even suggesting it." He raised a hand, halting my outburst. "Let's be clear, Emily. Like your mother, I'm not thrilled my only child wants to be a woman. You're lovely, better than I expected, but I don't get why you're throwing your life away. Sex will come up, and as a girl, that means with a guy, sooner or later. I'm no prude, but I didn't think you were naive enough to believe otherwise." "I'm not attracted to guys, Dad," I said. "Maybe someday, but not now." He softened, voice low. "Father Thomas once said you weren't like other boys. I didn't get it then, but I do now. He saw something gentle in you, something I missed. Before he died, he told me something strange." Dad's words hung in the air, heavy with meaning. "Father Thomas said fighting Mother Nature is a lost cause, and freedom of the soul is all that matters." Then, surprising me, he took my hand. "I don't understand why you want to be a woman, but I need to know, does this make you feel free, like Father Thomas said?" I hesitated. "Not free, Dad. Complete. Like this is who I was always meant to be. I don't know about my soul yet, but for the first time, I'm at ease with myself, and that started when I began living this way." Facing him was my worst fear, admitting I wanted to be a girl, swearing I'd never thought of men that way. I hadn't expected my occasional dressing to spiral into this, each moment laced with terror. Beyond my need to be Emily, my family was everything Mom, Dad, me. Losing them scared me more than being outed, or even the thought of being with a guy. I squeezed his hand, my voice soft, eyes stinging. "Dad, I need you. Always have, now more than ever. Not for money, I need you to love me, no matter what I wear. Tears welled, and I braced for rejection, certain he'd turn away. I started to stand, to escape the words I dreaded, but he grabbed my arm, yanking me back. His eyes locked on mine, intense, silent. A tear slid down my cheek, and his grip softened, his hand squeezing mine. A faint smile broke through his stern face. "Sit," he said firmly. I did, his hand still on me. "Don't you dare suggest I don't love you. That's out of line, and you know it." I nodded, mute. "This is new," he said softer. "I've never had a daughter. I'm not sure how to act." "Like always?" I offered, voice trembling. He shifted gears. "How do you plan to attend school as a girl?" "Your documents say Alex." "I was hoping you could help," I said, a flicker of hope rising. "Girls cost more than boys," he said, half teasing. "Frilly stuff, makeup, haircuts, clothes. Did you expect me to pay for all that?" "I'm managing," I said, deflated. "That's not good enough." He leaned back, arms crossed. "I'll raise your allowance and look into the name change, but there are conditions." My heart leapt. "First, your mother and I want you to attend charm school this summer for poise and mannerisms. Second, your GPA stays above 3.4. Third, come home once a month, and I expect to see a lady the one your mother believes you can be. Questions?" I nearly lunged across the table, joy overwhelming me. Dad stood, arms open, and I collapsed into his embrace, sobbing. His hands stroked my hair, his heartbeat steady against my ear. No words, just the quiet throb of his acceptance. He hadn't said it outright, but he'd crossed the chasm from disapproval to love, showing me in his way. Softly he murmured, "I don't like this. You know that." I nodded. "Your mother says you don't have a choice, so neither do we. Even if you stopped now, you'd just start again after graduation." He pushed me back, holding my arms, his eyes steady. "A parent always loves their child, no matter what. We're just struggling with you wanting to be a girl." He let go, then asked, "Remember my motto?" How could I forget? "Conviction, honor, compassion, conscience," he said. "Say if you believe in something true. Honor it with a clear conscience and compassion for yourself and others." He sat back, face calm, leaving the words to settle between us. Dad's voice steadied, his motto still hanging between us. "If you're convinced this is right, you have to honor yourself by being true. With a clear conscience, do what's right, but compassion for yourself comes first without it. You can't cope or care for others." His words sank in, exposing how my need to be Emily had blinded me to everything else. "Tell me again," he said, eyes piercing. "Is this what you want?" I nodded, holding his gaze. "That means no grandchildren, no one to carry on the family line." He paused, then quoted, "Oscar Wilde said the only way to get rid of temptation is to yield to it. You've done that, Emily. You're a lovely girl, but now you must prove you're right. We have to tell the family you can't just appear out of nowhere." "I know, Dad. Maybe the 4th of July get-together?" He grinned. "Perfect. I'll warn everyone. Wear something summery." A sudden thought struck. "You know they can freeze eggs from a fertile woman, right? What if we used Mom's?" "If I marry someday, doctors could implant them, and our line would continue." "I'll talk to your mother." Then, shifting, "When do I meet this just-a-friend boy?" "I can call Tyler later," I said, hugging him. "Daddy?" "Yes, honey?" "I love you." "I love you too. Be the kind woman your mother insists you were meant to be." She said that? No doubt in her mind, though we don't understand why. "I don't either, Dad. If I didn't have to, why would I risk everything? I just don't have a choice." Mom called us in for lunch, and Dad took my car to fill it with gas. As we washed dishes, I grinned. "You knew Dad was yanking me around with that charm school talk?" He didn't just give in, she said. He hates this, more than he shows, but he's trying to understand what drives you. He thinks it's insane that you're giving up men's privileges to be second. From his view, women serve men bearing children, keeping house, typing letters. But beneath his gruffness, he's a pussycat who wants what's best for you. If that means his son becomes his daughter, he'll swallow that bitter pill because it's right, not because he likes it. She took my hands, facing me. You have to be the girl you claim to be, the daughter he'd expect every time he sees you. If this were part-time, he might cope better. But we all know where this is heading. Don't kid yourself. Let your father do things for you. It's how he shows love. He huffs, but his love won't waver. He raised your allowance and set conditions because he doesn't know what else to do. He'll watch you closely. You chose this. Emily now proved to us you're right. He's upset about the family line ending, I said. That's why I suggested the eggs. And he wants me at the 4th of July party for the family to see me. Wonderful idea, Mom said. Nana might choke, and your cousins will hassle you, but you knew that. Bring shorts or a swimsuit, something feminine to shut them up. The path was clear. I wanted to be a girl more than anything, and my parents, though reluctant, were giving me the chance. Charm school would refine me, and a skirt wouldn't tank my grades. For the first time, I wasn't trapped in a room with no way out. Mom handed me a credit card embossed with Emily as we finished the dishes. Ordered it after I got home, she said. It has a limit, but use it for what you need: clothes, maybe beard removal. She slid a list across the table, every item matching my own mental checklist. With her nod, I called Tyler, asking him to come over to meet some people, keeping it vague to avoid spooking him. While we waited, Rachel joined us. Then Dad returned, announcing he'd filled my car, washed it, and changed the oil. Tyler arrived soon after, and introducing him to Dad was like watching two bulls square off, polite but wary. Dad guarding his territory, Tyler subtly staking a claim. Rachel later explained the tension. I'd been clueless, thinking it all went smoothly. Dad turned interrogator, grilling Tyler until Mom intervened, declaring we'd go somewhere nice for dinner and inviting Tyler along. Rachel bowed out, citing a date. I changed into the black cocktail dress Mom had pushed me to buy, its low neckline daring. Dad's eyes widened when he saw me, but Mom's grin kept him in check. I'd made my point. I was Emily, unapologetically. Dinner went better than expected. Dad and Tyler found common ground, and by the time my parents left the next day, Dad and I had a silent pact. I'd be the daughter he expected, and he'd try to be the father I needed. Tyler, though, kept nudging my denial about men. The way he looked at me that night stirred something, but I held firm, keeping him as a friend. Still, doubt lingered. Had I upended my family for nothing? Were my parents to blame, or was I defective? The questions swirled, but the path was set, and we were all stepping into uncharted territory because I needed to be a girl. Charm school started a week later, sharpening my confidence. My makeup improved, my style grew refined, I shed weight, and my mannerisms rivaled any girl my age. A month in, Dad sent a packet of documents, my name legally changed to Emily Marie, honoring Nana. He also requested portrait photos, which I had taken. That summer, I softened into myself, even dating Tyler a few times. His kiss felt like Dad's familial, not fiery, so we settled into close friendship, nothing more. The 4th of July party came, and I wore a blue and white gingham dress, flirty but tasteful. My cousins teased until I kissed Jake square on the lips, sending them scrambling amid laughter. Nana started cool, struggling with my choice, but warmed after I explained myself over lunch later that week. She gifted me her jewelry, touched I'd chosen her middle name. As fall and school loomed, I looked back. Rachel was my rock, Tyler a loyal friend, Mom my guide. Dad, the biggest hurdle, softened over 6 home visits, shifting from anger to protectiveness. On one trip, he urged me to start a medical program, saying being fully a girl beat being half. That meant everything, though I dropped Daddy when it felt forced. I lost more weight, had my beard removed, and began developing physically, Mom checking in bi-weekly until she told me to ditch the padding. Soon after, I met Logan. His kiss set my nerves ablaze, and we started dating, unlike my platonic bond with Tyler. But the true milestone was my family, Mom, Dad, and I, rebuilding without the fear that had fractured us when they first saw Emily. Now I'm whole. A woman, a wife, my parents' daughter, Dad's little girl. He accepts me for who I am, though a wistful look sometimes betrays his lost son. It fades quickly. He sees I've embraced his motto, conviction, honor, compassion, conscience, and found what Father Thomas called freedom of the soul. What more could I want?